Hello everyone, my name's LeBron, and today I'm going to be going over all the reasons why you should be watching WandaVision. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. LeBron, who's not watching WandaVision right now? Well, this may surprise you, but actually the majority of people that I know and have talked to have not watched this show, let alone even heard of it. Why is that, you might ask? Well, despite being one of the biggest franchises in movie history, a lot of people have not found the shows quite necessary. They see it as sort of another Disney cash grab. And in fact, a lot of people just avoid these things altogether because they feel like they must have seen every movie that has come out in this franchise just to understand a single episode. Well, in fact, my dear viewer, I'm here to tell you today that that is in fact not the case when it comes to WandaVision. You see the two main characters in the show, Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, and Vision, aka well, Vision, they've in fact not gotten much character development from the movies. In fact, I would argue that a lot of the development in the movies can be sort of glossed over. I would even dare to say that if you were in fact not keeping up with the franchise, you would enjoy the show more than someone who was. The show is supposed to be a bit of a mystery drama where the character is supposed to slowly figure out how and why they're in the situation that they're currently in. And without the previous knowledge of the franchise, you'll find yourself kind of figuring things out alongside of the characters. The show stars Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda and Paul Bettany as the Vision. Honestly, for characters that have gotten little to no development through these movies, I think they're doing a pretty good job, especially when it comes to their relationship with each other, which again, we have barely seen. Through all the mystery and the hijinks that our characters are put through throughout this show, the two actors definitely portray two characters that are in fact in love and care for each other. And as someone who has been married for 6 years now, I can definitely relate to these characters when they're in these situations. Except for the supernatural magic stuff, of course. One of the things I think the show does really well at is showing you the characters at their worst. A lot of times in superhero movies, you tend to see characters being just and heroic and always knowing the right thing to do.
And Hulk. Smash.
But in the show, the characters are put into situations that they can't exactly punch their way through. They often find themselves lost and confused, even scared. Even the side characters who are also trapped in this world alongside of our heroes always seem confused and out of place. Without spoiling too much, one of the main side characters is Agnes. Agnes plays your stereotypical best friend slash neighbor character in this show. As you watch the show, you'll tend to notice that her sense of timing is oddly perfect, showing up with exactly what the characters need right when the characters need it. And the majority of the side characters are kind of seen in the same light. It's almost as if everyone was given the script except for the main characters. And despite a few lines here or there, a lot of the side characters are doing pretty well. I mean, when bouncing off of someone like Paul Bettany, you're bound to, but I think regardless, everyone there on set really cares about what they're doing. In WandaVision, you'll follow the characters as they do a sort of trip through time, with each episode being filmed kind of like a sitcom in different time periods. With the first episode being somewhere in the early 50s and 60s, and current episodes being placed somewhere in the early 2000s and current day, mirroring shows like The Office or Modern Family. And with both characters sort of just waking up in this reality one day, it's not too long before both characters realize that something is definitely afoot. And as you follow the characters through the story, you'll definitely see them disagree and fall apart, with both of them having vast different understandings or outlooks on the world that they just woke up in. Yes, I know a lot of people are going to say that there is in fact a completely other B-plot that is happening outside of the world that both of our main characters are trapped in, that introduce new and reoccurring characters from previous films.
It's a working theory.
But I do believe that the show introduces these characters in a sort of natural way that requires no knowledge of the previous movies.
James E. Wu, FBI.
I would say the only thing you need to know going into WandaVision is that Wanda and Vision are part of a superhero team called the Avengers. Previously, Vision died due to Big Bad Guy, and Wanda is understandably upset about it. And honestly, one of the biggest highlights of this show is in fact the set itself. It really does feel like they're filming in the 50s and 60s with these sort of big, wide open sets that they're acting on. With even the most recent episode having the sort of interviewing platform that The Office or Modern Family has, where they're talking to an unseen crew behind the scenes. But like most things, this show is not perfect. Like previously mentioned, some of the side characters aren't doing as well as, of course, our main characters with some of their line delivery. It definitely falls a little flat or unrealistic. And on top of that, the first 2 episodes are a bit of a sit-through. Disney did release both episode 1 and 2 at the same time, and they definitely drag a little bit longer than they could. Now, the first 2 episodes are a bit of a setup. They are supposed to help you place yourself in this world alongside of our characters and slowly give you a sense of unease, but they can be a bit of a drag. Especially along the second episode, I kept waiting to see a hint or a clue or even the idea that a mystery was going to happen. It felt just like an old sitcom. For example, I've actually been watching this show with a friend of mine who has watched and enjoyed the majority of the other Marvel movies. When hearing the announcement of the show, he was not very amused. He saw the show as I assume most people saw this show, as why would they give these D-list superheroes their own TV show, let alone the first one released on Disney+. After watching the first 2 episodes, he really felt like his concerns were confirmed. And honestly, I had no real argument against it. I too felt like the first 2 episodes were really dragging their feet. It didn't really hook the audience with anything. It just felt like a weird, out-of-place show. After waiting the whole week for the 3rd episode to come out, we both sat down, not very eager on what was to come next. But I can happily say that after watching the 3rd episode, I was oddly surprised and eager for the 4th. The 3rd episode really hits things off when being introduced to the characters that are in fact outside of this reality that both Wanda and Vision are stuck inside of. The momentum really picks up. Mysteries and questions from the previous episodes start to slowly become unraveled, and things start to kind of make sense. So for anyone who watches this video and thinks, I'll give it a try, just stick through it through the 3rd episode. If you watch the 3rd episode and still don't find yourself very amused, then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe WandaVision is not for you. But without spoiling too much, I'll have to end my video here. Those of you who sat through this entire video, thank you very much. I believe there are only 2 more episodes left to be released in WandaVision. I will definitely be making a video as a review for the entire show once those 2 episodes have been released. With this being my first video ever released to YouTube, I don't know if my channel is going to be revolving around the Marvel universe or even superheroes for that matter. I definitely have a passion and a love for film, and I've always watched film YouTubers and thought that maybe I could also give my opinion. So that's definitely what I plan to do. So regardless of what my next video is going to be, it's probably gonna be movie related. But on the off chance there is literally anyone on the other side of this camera watching me, leave me a message in the comments. Let me know, did I do a good job? Was there any points that I missed? Did I say anything wrong? Was there something that you wanted to see me talk about next? But again, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.